What's going on, my friends? Cubs fan Han here for another Galaxy of Heroes video, and we got a big one today, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to cover the top 15 squads in this game and what counters them. So we talked a while ago about the top 10 squads in the game. I'm extending the list to 15, and we're going to talk a little bit generally because there's a lot of variance here, and we're going to focus on what squads will counter them. I've got a lot of footage here to share with you guys, and this video might get long. I'm going to do my best to condense this information for you and make it as valuable as possible, but this is a big freaking video. We got a lot to talk about here, so I will do my best to get that covered as soon as possible for you guys so that you're not here for 3 hours while we talk about this. So let's get straight into this list, ladies and gentlemen. Starting with the top, we're going to do 15. We'll go 15 through 1. The first team I want to talk about here is BASTILA Shan. So you can see here, BASTILA Jedi. Some really solid counters for BASTILA are going to be JTR or Bounty Hunters. Now, I did not realize that Bounty Hunters were working on this. I've got a lot of footage to share on this video. I've got links down below in the description that will show you guys where you can get a lot of that. But kind of one of the keys with Bounty Hunter, or with when you're going against JTR, is survivability. And this may be for more of you endgame players. You may be seeing BASTILA less and less. I personally still place her on defense every once in a while. I think she's a team that's really easy to underestimate, and it just takes so long to burn through all of that protection up that you get at the beginning. But if you can stay alive long enough, you'll be okay. This team is showing Bounty Hunters with Embo. I don't think you have to have Embo. Key ingredients here are definitely going to be Dengar, Bosk, Boba, Jango, though. And also, this team is going against Yoda. Usually when you see BASTILA nowadays, you won't be seeing Yoda. Most people are going to save Yoda for Jedi Knight Revan, and you'll see BASTILA with more second-class Jedi. And so this is even about as hard as it could possibly get. But you'll see here, if we fast forward to the end of the battle, I don't want to watch all of these battles. They end up getting the contract. It takes a long time. Look at the clock here, almost down to 2 minutes, and then they're able to get the win there. So Bounty Hunters are an option. JTR is another option. A big reason why JTR is going to be an option there is because she has that heal block there that will just make a huge difference. All right, let's go to the next one. We have got Bounty Hunters on the list. Speaking of Bounty Hunters. Now, Bounty Hunters are countered by several things, but you're still definitely going to be seeing them here. The team I'm going to show here, this is actually my footage. This is Emperor Palpatine. Now, the key to this counter that you must realize when going up against Bounty Hunters, you really need Fracture to get off before Bosk uses his taunt. A caveat to that is if Bosk doesn't have that second Zeta, which is going to add that taunt insistence where you clear it, it comes right back, then you can maybe have a slower Thrawn, but even then, you're still going to want to get Fracture out as soon as possible, and then you focus on the rest of the team. Boba Fett and Jango Fett are going to be your top priorities. Boba usually first, then Jango, because Jango tends to have that damage immunity up there. So Jango's not in this particular battle, but that's something to pay attention for. This is a little bit older footage, but this is still my go-to counter when I can get there. TRAYA is also another good counter in CLS. I'm going to say Empire is ideal because you're going to want to save other things. You're going to want to use TRAYA and CLS against other things. TRAYA you're going to want to use against bugs, probably CLS against a myriad of other things. However, if it's a really solid Bounty Hunter team, or if your Thrawn is too slow, you may want to bring in TRAYA or CLS to feel a lot more confident. TRAYA is also very effective against Jango lead Bounty Hunters, which are, in my opinion, a lot harder than Bosk lead, but you're still seeing a lot of Bosk lead, especially sometimes with Watt, which I'm not showing here. This will still work. You just need to have a pretty solid Empire team to get it to work. So, and this will go for all of the teams here on my list. You really need to make sure that you're having pretty equal gear and relics, etc. There's some that you can undersize, like probably CLS for a lot of these teams. You may be able to, you know, have a weaker CLS against some stronger teams. It just kind of depends. All right, number 13, we got First Order. You guys probably know how to counter First Order at this point. I mean, the classic First Order counter that I've been using right here is JTR, which I feel like this is about as easy as it gets for First Order. Now, it's changing with First Order, though. We've got Hux, we've got Sith Trooper. That definitely makes it harder. JTR still works against this if you have, again, the equal relics, etc. So if you're going up against a Relic 7 Sith Trooper, don't expect your Gear 12 JTR team to work. You're going to need to have pretty matching relics to compete with that. Some other great options for First Order are Empire, Ewoks tends to work, or, you know, CLS will work too. I don't have CLS on my list here, but if you have a, you know, really overpowered, you know, high relic, Hux Sith Trooper First Order team, you may want to take something more like CLS or TRAYA against it, just to be a little more confident there. But generally, JTR works. This footage here, you actually see JTR gets killed. That usually doesn't happen for me. This was the only footage I could find of it. Again, link down below in the description for all the footage. But usually when I go up against First Order, it's no problem. I mean, my JTR team tends to... And I like taking Finn in there for some survivability. I almost always walk out of those battles with 58, 59, 60 banners. All right, let's get to the next one. Oops, I keep hitting the wrong screen. All right, number 12, we have got CARTH Old Republic. We're seeing this a lot, and sometimes with bots, sometimes with nests. There's a ton of variants to this team in particular. And so be aware of that depending on the team, again, depending on the gears, you may want to use something else. I love First Order against CARTH, though. I've had no problem taking on CARTH, even with Nest, with my First Order. You just need to make sure you have a lot of offense on your First Order Executioner. You see here, this is Palpatine against CARTH. This also works pretty well. Empire, on this team in particular, you got Empire with Tarkin, Stormtrooper, TIE Fighter pilot. They're not even using Thrawn in this footage, which I think is very valuable. You can use Thrawn somewhere else on this. A key when attacking this team, you want to get CARTH out of there as soon as possible. If you can get shock on Zalbar, it's very helpful when you're using Empire. JTR also works very well. Get that heal block over on Zalbar, strip his turn meter, keep him dazed, you know, that kind of thing, just to kind of manage mission in Zalbar. And of course, as always, it will depend on the gear how you handle this. This team has a low gear CARTH, or a low gear Canderous. But if you're going up against a high gear Canderous, if you're going up against a Relic Canderous, you're going to need to take something very solid in there, because Canderous can spit some just mad damage, ladies and gentlemen, at high relics. When he's lower gear, you know, gear 12, gear 11, I don't really worry about Canderous too much. But if he's at gear 13, especially high relic gear 13, yeah, you're going to need to really, really be careful with Canderous Ordo. All right, let's check out the next one on the list. We have got NUTE Separatist. Now, this is probably my new favorite Grand Arena defensive team, NUTE Separatist. I am really, really enjoying placing mine on defense. Probably my favorite new addition to my Gear 12 lineup is NUTE. CLS and JTR are some of the best ways to take on this. I've heard of Empire working as well. I didn't put that there because I don't personally feel confident with my Empire against it, and I haven't seen any footage of it. So if you guys have footage of Empire working for you, great, put that down below. These are the two teams I've personally used that I feel confident endorsing as viable counters for NUTE. CLS is probably my go-to. It's almost at a point now where I'm pretty much saving CLS for NUTE teams, just because it feels so confident to me. I mean, we'll throw some footage up there right now. I hit the wrong button again. Dang it, Cubs. All right, so here's the footage of CLS against NUTE. It's just, you got the damage you need. This one in particular has Mission and Zalbar in there, which I think is a creative counter. And Zalbar, when he puts that tech, or when that tech gets on Zalbar, he can get real problematic. But you need to get NUTE out quick. You need to deal with all the counters from Dooku, and you got to remember to pay your taxes, which is something I get caught on tax evasion quite a bit when going up against NUTE. So CLS is my personal go-to counter. JTR I like to use for First Order, but JTR can work well as well. My JTR is not quite strong enough, I don't think, to feel confident against NUTE SEPS, but you'll probably find more success if your JTR is in a good place. And we'll skip ahead here. You can see that they definitely do get a pretty confident win here. Decent banners, not amazing banners in this one in particular. He's close to losing Scarefell Pathfinder there, but you get the gist. All right, let's go to the next one. We have got TRAYA. You don't see TRAYA much on defense, but if you're smart, you'll put TRAYA on defense every once in a while. If you can find something else that can counter bugs, I really like TRAYA on defense, because a lot of people just are not facing her, especially at high relics. When you have a high relic TRAYA, she can be absolutely nasty And you see here, here's the counters that I'm listing. JKR, CLS, Django. You know, there's just not a whole lot of options when you're going up against a really solid TRAYA team. So I think you find a ton of benefit going against her. Here's Django against Nest, or against, Django with Nest against TRAYA. This can work if you've got a really solid gear on your Django team. It's actually kind of funny because Django is also countered by TRAYA herself, and so these teams can kind of bounce against each other. But this is probably a good option if you have the gear on it. Otherwise, you're probably going to want to play it safe and just go with JKR or CLS. Even CLS can be really problematic. I think people forget how solid TRAYA teams can be. So I'm going to say it really depends on your situation and if you can take on bugs. But I'm gonna recommend using TRAYA on defense if you can afford to budget it. And we'll fast forward here. Again, links to all these full footage videos are down below in the description. But you can see here they get Scion alone. It takes a little bit to handle them, but they do eventually get there. All right, next up on the list, we have got the one and the only Commander Luke Skywalker. This is an offensive team, in my opinion, but a nice defensive team. There's a lot that counters it, but if you don't have the right counter for CLS, he can really throw you off because there's just so much damage coming at you so super fast. Night Sisters are a very good counter to CLS and one that I definitely recommend taking full advantage of. You can see here, here's a Night Sister team against CLS. And when you do it right, it doesn't take long. You get that plague out there. You know, here's the battle. We'll see how long this one takes to conclude. I've seen CLS teams just absolutely melt to Night Sisters and Zombie. They just keep attacking Zombie. Let's see. Actually, this battle actually took quite a while, all things considered. Probably because Chert and Baze are in there. Normally, you won't see Chert and Baze there, but CLS tends to be a very good option. Jedi Knight Revan is another option. I hate to waste Jedi Revan there, but if you're going up against a very high relic Night Sister team, or Commander Luke Skywalker team, sorry, you may want to just go ahead and take Commander Luke, or Jedi Knight Revan in there. You know, if you've got like a Relic 7 Han and Chewie, dude, they're just gonna freaking own you. All right, let's go for number 8 on our list. We have got the bugs. Now, everybody knows that TRAYA works against the bugs. I don't even need to show you footage of this. You know Padme works against the bug. I don't need to show you footage of that. I called this out in a video, though. The new Resistance is working against bugs. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to see this. I made a video about this. This is my own video here. And this is with the new Poe and the new Finn. And those two, with, you know, you get all these exposes out there, you do all the AoE, you can melt this bugs team. And this is the counter I feel like is just so valuable if you can get these characters. It just does so well against them, and it can free up your TRAYA team to put her on defense, throw people off, do some different things there. And so that's something you got to think about when going against these teams. So here we go. We're getting towards the end here. You can see, look at this AoE here. Boom! See you later. How dope is that? Just really, really solid damage there. And all the AoE, the exposes, and everything makes the magic happen. So don't count out the new Resistance when you're going up against the Geonosians. All right. Number 7, we have got Night Sisters. Now, Night Sisters are terrifying, my friends. Night Sisters are terrifying, and you need to be prepared for what they're going to do. It's one of those teams that will just obliterate you if you're not careful. So here's a bounty hunter team. This counters them pretty well if you have a solid bounty hunter team. Kind of the way the strategy works on this team, by the way, is you're going to want to set up Boba Fett to just start executing. Execute, because they won't revive. That's the workaround. And so you need to kind of get a lot of debuffs out there. And remember, Boba also ignores the taunt. And so it's a very solid workaround to Night Sister Zombie. This will not work if you do not have the gear for it. So this was my go-to counter for Night Sisters for a long time. But ever since everyone got relics, my boss team is not relicked. And so I'm not using it anymore, personally. And so some other options for you, JKR. He will work under-geared against Relic Night Sisters. If you got a full gear 12, even then it could be dicey. Bugs work really well. This is my go-to counter now. I'm using my Relic 4 Brood Alpha to counter bugs. CLS can also work, and Palpatine, if you know, Palpatine with Death Trooper is kind of a similar functionality to having Boba in there. So some counters to work against Night Sisters, but really it depends on the gear. If the gear's high and your bounty hunters don't match it, don't use bounty hunters. Use something a lot more confident against those sisters, because, man, they will get you. They will get you every time. Every time. All right, here we go. Number 6. We're plowing through here. We got Jedi Revan on the list. Jedi Revan is tricky, ladies and gentlemen. He's, you know, he was a meta not too long off. In recent memory, he was our meta. A team I want to highlight that I love using against Jedi Revan is the Bugs. Bugs work against Jedi Revan. You do need to have the relics. You want to be pretty solid, but they work. And it's just, I couldn't believe it the first time I got it to work. Darth Revan's going to be your comfortable choice. You know, if your bugs aren't solid, you're going to, you know, you're going to have to be really careful with this one. CLS can also work. You're going to need to be probably superior gear, or at least equal gear. I say superior gear, superior mods to make CLS work. Otherwise, there's other counters that can work, but those are the ones that I feel the most comfortable with. I like Bugs right now as a counter to Jedi Revan, but most people, I'm not seeing a lot of Jedi Revan nowadays, mostly because, kind of like TRAYA. People are saving TRAYA to counter Bugs. People are saving Jedi Revan to counter Grievous. And so it's something you're not seeing as much, but if you can find another counter to Grievous, nice to throw him out there, you know, nice to throw Jedi Revan out there just to throw people off. So Jedi Revan, there's a few counters for him. All right, let's go to number 5 on our list. We have got Shaak Ti clones. Shaak Ti clones are one of my favorite teams in the game now, because if you don't have gas, you can really take advantage of that 501st synergy and get a lot going. And if you've got relics on them, man, they can really catch people off guard. Bugs can counter this too. TRAYA is a good counter. We're going to show TRAYA here on the game right now as a viable counter. You're going to want to have good gear there. You're going to want to have good gear if you're going against it. I would say this is going to need to be pretty equal gear to make it work. CLS can also work. PADME can also work. I don't think PADME is probably what you're going to want to use against this team, but it may be what you're forced to use depending on how much or how solid the Shaak Ti team is. I've ran into teams that are full Relic 7. They're getting ready for gas, you know, and I mean, you can't shortchange that. You're going to need to take one of your best teams in there. This is a team that really catches people off guard because there's no gas in there. There's no Grievous in there. There's no Darth Revan or Jedi Revan in there. But man, if they're relicked, you're gonna get lit up if you don't take some relics in there. So be careful to take relics in there, especially if you're going up against them with something other than, you know, one of the top meta teams in the game. But you can see here, this ends up working out for this guy. Very, very much assisted by Annihilate there. All right, let's go back. We have got number 4 on our list. We are on the home stretch, ladies and gentlemen. General Grievous. Now, if you don't know how to counter General Grievous by now, I would really like to help you, because Grievous is absolutely terrifying. I've got JKR listed on here. That's going to be either Revan as the lead or Bastila as the lead. Both work. Both are viable. Some people have strong opinions on which one is better. I'm going to say both work. So whatever works for you, I would say is the best option. Night Sisters can work too. You're going to need to make sure that you have a Relic DAKA. However, if you're doing that, Relic 5 plus Emperor Palpatine and Bastila can also work against them. So just be careful on what you're using. Make sure it's something that you feel confident on. Jedi Revan is my go-to. And as you get to the higher Relic Grievous teams, especially in the later game, you're going to want to be careful to have a Relic Jolee. If Jolee dies, this whole thing dies. You're almost always going to need to revive somebody to get banners or even to win. And so having Relic Jolee for a lot of people is the solution to this. You want to make sure you attack B2 first, because B2 is going to strip all those buffs over and over and over again and make it very hard for you to get your, you know, your damage flow going. So I would recommend, I think the best counter to Grievous, in my opinion, is Jedi Revan with a Relic Jolee. That is the most confident. But Night Sisters with a high Relic high Relic DAKA are a very good option that can enable you to save your Jedi Revan and your Padme for something else, because Padme, I don't have Padme listed on here. I should have put her on there. Padme also counters Grievous, but you tend to want to use her somewhere else as well. All right, number 3 on our list. we have got the one, the only Padme. Speaking of the devil, the angel, I should say. TRAYA, New Resistance, and Darth Revan. You've seen TRAYA counter Padme. You know how Darth Revan counters Padme. Even Darth Revan against a solid Padme team can be dicey, but I want to talk about the New Resistance countering it. I actually shared this in a video as well. I'm going to throw this up on the screen. But check this out. The New Resistance with Finn and Poe can counter Padme. What you just need to make sure you do is you don't use any assisting mechanics. You got assisting with C-3PO, you got assisting with Padme, you got assisting with Finn there. Don't do it. Don't do it, and if you don't do it, you can absolutely win. There's enough damage, there's enough AoE here to get the job done. I think this battle is really fun. A big part of it is to, you know, go for General Kenobi at the beginning, and then go for, oh, my footage loaded. Oh, it's giving me an ad. No, don't watch the ad. Don't give Cubs Fan On any extra money. It's like adception here. All right, there we go. This is my battle. If you can get Anakin out early in this battle, you're in much better shape. So you see here, boom. And then we're going to have Poe do his thing. Boom. And I should have picked JTR there. I talk about that in the video. I'd recommend going to watch this video. But once you get Anakin out of there, as you can see, we're able to get the job done here. Let's see. We'll go to the end. I'll prove it. I'll prove it to you. See, just Padme. We did lose one. So not high relics or high banners match right there if you're going in Grand Arena. But it works, and that's what matters. All right, let's go to number 2 on the list. We have got Darth Revan. Oh my gosh, Darth Revan is on defense a lot. And what I recommend mostly for Darth Revan is the mirror match. What are you using every day? When it comes to Grand Arena counters and Territory Wars counters, for these top meta teams, I always recommend, if you can, use what you are used to. What are you comfortable with? With Darth Revan, I do the mirror match. That's what I'm comfortable with. Now, Padme can work. My Padme team can probably work. I could practice it, and I may be comfortable with that. I would love to start putting Darth Revan on defense, but for now, I'm just more comfortable with Darth Revan working. And you know what? Last Grand Arena Championships, I lost only one match. I hit Kyber League. I was okay. So that's a strategy that works for me. So whatever you feel the most confident with, use. So Padme can work. Nuke can work. I recommend using what you're using in Arena for this, personally. And so if you're using Darth Revan, use that. If you're using Padme, use that. If you're using the Nuke, use that. We all know how that works. All right. Finally, we have got the one, the only General SKYWALKER, the top dog of Galaxy of Heroes right now. CLS can work against him. It's just something that just still blows my mind that a meta this old works against gas. And you can see here, this is where it's working right now. And you got to have the relics, you know. You need to have, I didn't say especially Han and Chewie. What really makes this work is that you've got enough damage at the beginning to get him to sit down fast. And if he sits down fast, then you can do the damage on the other clones, and then you need to have enough damage to get him before he gets you. Because you'll see here at the end of this battle, once we get to the end, let's actually fast forward a bit to the end. So we get all those clones out. Okay, it's just Anakin and Snips. So R2 is going to stealth. They need to get all of that protection gone, which if you've modded him right, you're going to have a lot of protection on your gas. It's hard to get him to sit down. Kneel down, I should say. There we go. There, they got it. And here's where you're going to see the benefit of the relics here. All right, so we're going to go for Snips. Ba-boom, she's gone, and now he's just going to start lighting people up. What a great dodge there by R2-D2. Wow, this, you know, and this one might not be high damage on the gas, because I normally, it might not be Relic 7. I don't know if it actually, the video says it is Relic 7. But yeah, he's got R2-D2 out, and look at this. Look at the struggle. Han is in trouble. Chewie he's got the days. Han's out of there. You see how he does this? But then Chewie with the big damage, he's got relics. And then we're going to be able to take him out here. There's a lot of debate on which ability we're going to use. Oh, he's not going to win the battle, I think, in this footage. Maybe. Is he going to win it? Is he going to finish it? Yeah, there you go. He finishes it. So he's got the airplane mode. He's probably fighting a shard mate. So just pay attention. Pay attention to that. It works very well, CLS. But me personally, I prefer to use Darth Revan because that's what I use in Arena. You know, that's what works for me. I know in my last Grand Arena, I failed against Gas, but, you know, Territory Wars, I got it the next day. My Arena Climb, I get it most of the time. It's still up in the air because I don't have him, but it's my most comfortable counter at this time. Padme can work too. Need the relics to be there. So, ladies and gentlemen, there's the full list. Wow, that was a marathon video. I'm going to need to go take a nap after this one because this was a lot to cover. I am sorry that the video ended up being a lot longer than my normal scheduled program would be, but there's so much valuable information in here. I felt like it was worth taking the time to go through all of them. If there are any questions you guys have, fill the comments up. Let's discuss these. These counters can be tricky. There's a lot changing in the game right now, and so I'm sure that we'll need to update this here in a couple months, and so I'll make this a regular attempt to go over the top 15 teams that you're seeing in Grand Arena Territory Wars and what the best counters are for them. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you did enjoy the video, go ahead and leave it a like. I would appreciate it, and as always, my brothers, don't forget